Good day, future doctors and medical technologies. Welcome back again to another episode of Histology Lecture. So, you can call me Sir Neil and I'll be your professor for today. So, we already talked about adipose tissue and cartilage. So, now we're going to talk about the bone. Okay, so grossly, bones are classified as compact bone, this one, and spongy bone, which is this one. Okay, so only two are the compositions of your bone. No, it may be compact and spongy, and always the two are present in one single bone. Okay, so let's identify them first. So let's start with compact bone. Your compact bone, okay, your compact bone doesn't have any cavities. Okay, so ang cavities na ginamit dito is not the same with na makita sa ngipin natin, but rather itong mga butas-butas dito. Okay, sa bone, because the cavities can be found in the spongy bone and not in the compact bone. Okay, so the other name for your compact bone is cortical bone. So your compact bone is hard. Okay, it needs to be, because it is the protective layer of your bone. Okay, and your compact bone is composed of or contains osteons. Ito mga bilog-bilog dito, these are the osteons. Okay, so yan yung kanyang component. So let's move on to the next slide. Your compact bone is covered by and protected by a dense irregular connective tissue. So despite the compact bone being hard, it is still covered by a connective tissue. Okay, to be precise, a dense irregular connective tissue called periosteum. Okay, so periosteum, this one is the periosteum. Okay, so since you can clearly see that it is covered by dense irregular connective tissue, therefore you can conclude that this connective tissue is made up of collagen type 1. Once again, collagen type 1 is needed if something needs to be strong. Okay, so since your bones and your compact bone is hard and needs to be strong, it is now protected by a collagen type 1, the periosteum. Okay, so can you appreciate in the photo that your compact bone here is being protected by the periosteum. So once again, para mas maintindihan ninyo, let's take a look under the microscope. Under the microscope, here you have your compact bone. Okay, so this one covering the compact bone natin is what we call the periosteum. Can you appreciate the presence of visible fibers here? Yes, these are all visible collagen fibers. Anong klaseng collagen type? Collagen type 1. Okay, and also appreciate that your compact bone doesn't have any cavities, yung mga butas-butas kanina. It's because your compact bone doesn't have any cavities. Anong meron sa compact bone? Osteons. Okay, osteons. Yung osteons na yan will be discussed in the next slide. Okay, so let's move on. This is an osteon. Okay, this entire picture is an osteon. Osteon, ang other name ng osteon natin is Haversian. Why Haversian system? Haversian system ang tawag sa kanya because ang nakadiscover sa osteon is si Mr. Haversian. Okay? Located in the center of the osteon is what we call the Haversian canal or the central canal. Okay? Can you appreciate the small pockets here? Yan. Small pockets or mga maliliit na butas is the lacuna. Okay? Lacuna, sir, narinig ko na yan siya sa cartilage. Yes, because it still function the same as your cartilage. Okay, the lacuna here functions the same as what lacuna that you can find in your cartilage. Maalala niyo sa cartilage natin that the lacuna there is present to hold chondrocytes in place. Okay, so sa osteon, ano bang gina-hold in place niya? Okay, it also holds cells in place. Anong klaseng cell? The osteocyte, as well as the osteoblast, and as well as the osteoclast. Okay, so let me differentiate the three. Osteocyte and osteoblast both came from the bone marrow. Okay, please understand that osteocyte and osteoblast came from the bone marrow from a progenitor ng osteogenic progenitor. Okay, ibig sabihin hindi siya galing sa same progenitor cell na naggawa or gumagawa ng mga blood cells natin. No, it's not the same. Yung gumagawa ng mga neutrophil natin, basophil, monocyte, hindi yun siyang gumagawa ng mga osteocyte and osteoblast because meron siyang sariling progenitor cell. Okay, anong tawag doon? The osteogenic progenitor cell. Okay, yun yung gumagawa ng osteocyte and osteoblast. Ang osteoclast ninyo, remember that osteoclast is a type of macrophage that is found in the bone. Since macrophage siya, therefore we can retract kung saan siya nanggaling. From being a macrophage, di ba? Ano siya muna before naging macrophage? Monocyte, no? Kasi pag-alagalay siya sa bloodstream. Saan nanggaling ang monocyte ngayon? Sa bone marrow. Ano ang progenitor cell ng monocyte natin? The hematopoietic stem cells. Okay? The hematopoietic stem cells are the progenitor cells of your monocyte. From that, the monocyte decided to go into the bloodstream and stay in the tissue and becomes a macrophage. Since sa bone siya nag-deposit, it will become now your osteoclast. So ngayon, pag tinanong kayo, what is the progenitor cell of your osteoclast? Ang sagot, hematopoietic stem cell. Okay? Hindi siya osteogenic progenitor cell. Magkaiba yun. Okay? So please understand the difference of the three cells that is found in the lacuna of your osteon. Okay? Another structure here that you should know about is the lamella. See the gap here, this one. Okay? The space here, this one entire space here is what we call a lamella. Okay, so isang ganon, yan, isang ganyan, isang lamella. Isang ganon, this one is another lamella. Okay, so your lamella from the Haversian canal, no, it makes like a ripple. Patuloy pa outward na siya, guys, no, palabas na ripple na makita niyo talaga, ma-observe niyo. Okay, so this is another lamella. Yan siya, guys, ang lamella natin. So you need to be able to understand or identify the parts of an osteon. Ano pa ang need niyo malaman? See the striations here, this one, yung parang mga linya-linya, yung mga guhit-guhit na yan. Yan. Ito sila. Ang tawag dyan is canaliculi. Canaliculi, pag marami, no? Pag marami ang linya natin through, like this one, canaliculus kapag singular. Same with your lacuna. Lacuna kapag isa lang, pero kapag dalawa na ang tinuro, lacunae. Okay? Same thing with the lamella. Kapag isa lang yung tinuro, lamella. Kapag dalawa na yung tinuro natin, lamillae. Okay? So, I hope you understand the parts of an osteon and you will be able to identify it kapag pina-identify sa inyo. Okay? So, let's have another picture para mas maklaro ninyo. Okay? So, this is an example of an osteon. Okay? So, this is done using the transverse section cutting. In the center, you can see the Haversian canal or the central canal, which ang meron dito are blood vessels. Okay? So, next niyo na titingnan, okay, ang next niyo na titingnan dito is the canaliculi. These are your canaliculi. Itong mga striations na yan na parang papunta sa osteons are all canaliculi. Okay? And next, let's identify lacunae. Okay? Ito is an example of a lacuna. This one is an example of a lacuna. Together, they are called lacunae. Okay? Ano nga ulit ang nakalagay or naka-held in place sa lacunae? Your osteocyte, osteoblast, or osteoclast. Okay? Next thing na need natin i-identify, ito. Let's make a ripple effect. Okay? Let's make a ripple. Yan. Ganyan. Ayan. So, itong isang buong gap na to, what do you call this? Lamella. Kasi isa lang naman. Pero pag sinali na natin to, dalawa na sila ang tinuturo. Lamillae. Okay. So, at least naiintindihan na ninyo ngayon, no? The Haversian canal, the canaliculi, and the lacuna. The area to which saan nag-end yung ating lamillae, no? Yung pinaka sagad niya na area ng isang osteon natin. Kasi guys, the entire osteon, no, ang tawag sa kanya is Haversian system. Bakit siya system, sir? System siya kasi it is composed of different parts, okay, that works together to form the compact bone. Okay, so yung pinakasagad na part ng ating lamella, yung pinaka-last na part is what we call the cement line. Ibig sabihin, kung hanggang saan na yung hangganan ng ating lamella, yun na yung cement line. Okay, nagets nyo so far. Ngayon, sir, kasi guys, importante na alam nyo or ma-identify nyo kung hanggang saan yung cement line because it will give you an idea na meron na namang next osteon na katabi niya. For example, in this part, this is the cement line. Kasi another osteon na naman. Oh. You can clearly see the lamella here. And then, ito na naman. This is the cement line because another osteon na naman dito. Okay? So, yung area na kung saan, hanggang saan na yung lamella natin na visible, that is the cement line. Ngayon, the area to which walang lamella, walang cement line, o yung mismo sa dulo na ng cement line natin, is what we call the interstitial lamellae. Okay? So, basically guys, para hindi kayo mawala, yung area na kung saan nag-end yung lamella nyo is what we call the cement line. The area na kung saan suspended yung ating mga osteon, kasi diba yung magkakadikit-dikit kasi yan sila, is what we call the interstitial lamellae. Okay, for you to understand, let's take another picture. Okay, so here's another picture showing your concentric lamellae. Okay, bakit concentric lamellae, sir? It's because, tignan nyo, lahat sila naka-ripple, lahat sila binilugan. So, sabihin, lahat ito sila is identified as a lamellae. Kasi marami. Ngayon, itong area na to, this one, ito, this is the, anong tawag natin dyan sa area na yan? The cement line. Kasi dyan, nag-stop ang ating lamella. Okay, itong area na to, na wala pang lamella, di ba? Kasi walang osteon na nakadikit. But meron yan sa medyo apart lang konti, medyo malayo lang konti, is what we call the interstitial lamellae. Okay? So I hope naintindihan niyo, no? So ito siya, oh. Ito yung sagad ng lamella natin. This is the cement line. Itong another osteon na naman to dito, di ba? The area na kung saan walang osteon, isang tawag doon is interstitial lamellae. I hope klaro siya sa inyo, no? So, paano nga ba ang structure ng isang lamella? Ang isang lamella, guys, ganitong mukha niya. Okay? A concentric lamellae, guys, na is composed of multiple lamella. Okay? So, ang isang lamella, another lamella, another lamella. It is made up of type 1 collagen fibers. Okay? Bakit type 1, sir? Because it needs to be strong. Okay? Collagen type 1 needs to be strong. But appreciate that the degree or the striation of your collagen fibers are varying, no? So, ang striation ng isa papunta dito, while the other one is pa dito. Hindi siya on the same angle, okay? But rather a different angle. Bakit man? Because it needs to be that way. Bakit ganun? Kasi nga, it needs to be strong. Okay? Big factor yun siya, guys. Kasi kung medyo magkakaiba yung kanyang orientation, it will be stronger in the process. Kasi nga, if lahat sila papunta lahat sa right side, no, it will be very difficult for it to hold its place because hindi nga siya varying angles. Okay, so the orientation of your lamella to make a lamellae is varying. Okay, magkakaiba-iba. So let's take another picture para at least mas maintindihan talaga ninyo. Okay, so this is your one lamella, another lamella, and then another lamella. Okay, ano nga bang itsura niya yan sa next picture natin? So this is an example of another lamellae, guys, no? So meron tayong one lamella, another lamella, another lamella, and then another lamella. Okay, can you appreciate itong mga striations na to? This one, these are all canaliculi. Okay, mga canaliculus na sila. Okay, ano bang function ng ating canaliculus? We all know that your lamellae is there to provide structure, 'di ba? As well as protection na rin. Kasi nga ano siya, collagen type 1. Your canaliculi there, ang purpose niya talaga, since we have the nerves, the blood vessels here, whenever blood or nutrients are needed by the bone, let's say for example calcium, no? Calcium, how can that calcium be transported to your let's say osteocyte here? Through your canaliculi. Okay, the blood vessels, the blood or the nutrients will flow to the canaliculi and then will be transported to your osteocytes, osteoblasts, or your osteoclasts. Ganun siya, guys, no? So basically, your canaliculi will serve as a bridge from your central canal, okay, to whatever yung need ng ating bone. Okay, so I hope naintindihan ninyo, guys, no? Kasi nga this is just based on a drawing, kasi under the microscope it is quite different. Okay, so tandaan, the function of your canaliculi is to carry, no, or will serve as a pathway for the nutrients that is coming from your central canal. Okay, so yan sila. Yan. So let's move on sa next slide natin. So with that discussion, guys, I think you can now you are now ready to identify the different structures again of your osteon. So once again, this is your central canal, these are your lacunae, okay, kasi marami. Ito mga striations dito, this one are your canaliculus. Ang isang ganito, yan is your lamella. Okay, the area to which nag-end yung lamella mo is what we call the cement line, and then the area to which wala nang osteon ang susunod, no, or wala nang merong space for the next another osteon na naman, is what we call the interstitial lamellae. So tingnan natin, this is the cement line kasi dyan nag-end ang ating lamella, no. Itong area na to, na walang osteon, yan is what we call the interstitial lamellae. Ito pa, itong area dito na walang osteon is another interstitial lamellae. Okay, so I hope you are now ready to identify the parts of an osteon. So let's have a quiz. Okay, so let's identify first what is being pointed by the arrow. Okay, so on your end, you can identify, no? So the white arrow is pointing at what? The central canal, other name, the Haversian canal. The blue arrow is pointing at what? Very good, a lamella. Okay, the gray arrow is pointing at what? Very good. Okay, if your answer is canaliculi or canaliculus, very good, you did well. The green arrow is pointing at what? Very good, a cement line. Okay, the yellow arrow is pointing at what? If your answer is interstitial lamellae, you are correct. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so based on the picture here, no, sabi dito, or based on what you've learned so far, osteons are completely separated from each other. Is it true or is it false? Magkakahiwalay ba ang osteons natin? Yes or no? True or false? Okay, so if your answer is completely separated, if your answer is 2, then you are wrong. Kung ang answer niya is false, ibig sabihin you are right. Okay, it's because the osteons are not separated from each other, but rather they are connected by what we call the Boltzmann canals or perforating canals. Okay, so we have one osteon here and then another osteon here. Okay, so can you clearly see the blood vessels present in their central canal? Okay, they are all connected through this what we call Boltzmann's canal or perforating canal. Okay, so magkakasama pala yan sila, guys, no? Para siyang lihim na paghawak kamay. Okay, ayan, no? Yan, there are multiple Boltzmann's canals present in one compact bone. Okay, so based on the diagram, let's try to identify. This is one Haversian canal. This is one lamella, another lamella, another lamella. Okay, so since meron naman tayong another wala nang susunod na lamella, this is what we call the cement line. Okay, so I hope naintindihan niyo yung mga different parts ng ating osteon so far. Okay, so let's take a look of a cross section of a bone and try to label the parts. Okay, so let's label the following structures. Let's find the central canal. Okay, so if you are pointing at this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one, you are correct. Okay, so those are all central canal. Let's find lacuna. Okay, so kung makita niyo itong mga bilog-bilog na to, yan sila. These are all lacuna. Okay, so now let's take a look or find canaliculi. Ito mga striations na to, yan, yung mga visible striations na yan. Those are all canaliculi. Now, let's look for a concentric lamella. So, let's say one Haversian canal, pabilog, ayan, pabilog, then pabilog. So, that is a concentric lamella. So, another lamella naman, try natin. Ayan. Let's find a cement line. So, ibig sabihin, since dito nag-end yung ating lamella, this is now a cement line. Okay? The interstitial lamellae is the area to which walang osteon. Okay? And then the Boltzmann's canal is basically this one. This is the Boltzmann canal, connecting the one central canal from another central canal. So, this is the Boltzmann's canal. So, if you answer everything, very good. So, this is a cross-section of the bone. So, let's take a look at a longitudinal section of your bone. For the longitudinal section, guys, no, madali lang siya i-understand. So, let's try. Okay, central canal. Ano nga bang itsura ng central canal dyan? This is your central canal. This one, central canal. Okay, so tandaan, this is a longitudinal section. Okay, let's find a lacuna. This is an example of a lacuna. Another lacuna. Then, another lacuna naman dyan. Okay, so ang canaliculi, saan dyan? See the dots here? Ito sila. Yan. Yan. Those are all canaliculi, guys. Okay, so I hope hindi kayo mawala between longitudinal section and then yung ating cross section. Ang Boltzmann's canal natin, this is the Boltzmann's canal. Okay? Ito, this one. Ayan. You have one central canal here, then another central canal here. So this is the Boxman's canal. Okay? So I hope hindi kayo mawala sa parts ng ating compact bone. So let's have a review. Your compact bone is covered by what we call a periosteum. Anong collagen fiber? Collagen type 1. Your compact bone also has lamella, that is collagen type 1. Bakit collagen type 1? Because it needs to be strong. Okay? So ano pa? Ano pang pwede natin malaman sa compact bone? Your compact bone is made up of multiple osteons. Okay? Ano mga parts ng osteons? You have your lacuna, lamella, Haversian canal. You have your canaliculi. Ano pa? You also have your Boxman's canal. Okay? So, that is your assignment on how can you make a detailed diagram or detailed description of the following parts of the compact bone. So we are now done with the compact bone. Let's talk about the spongy bone. Okay, so spongy bone grossly are classified are grossly called your cancellous bones. Okay, so kanina kung tawag sa ating compact bone is the cortical bone, ang spongy bone cancellous bone ang tawag sa kanya. It forms the inner layer of your of all the bones that we have. Okay, so please understand that in spongy bone there are no osteons. Ano meron sa spongy bone? Meron tayong tinatawag na mga cavities. Okay, so sa spongy bone ang marami is your cavities. Yan yung mga butas-butas na yan. Okay, so meron ding mga bone spicules ang sa ating spongy bone, and those are called trabecula or trabeculae kapag marami. Okay, so dyan sa trabecula na yan, no, those are the spaces, okay, that are which comprises or makes your cavities. Sa cavities naman, dyan yung makikita yung ating mga bone marrow. Okay? So, other name ng ating mga bone marrow is the medullary cavity. Okay? So, let's take a look at the gross picture of your spongy bone. Okay? So, we have letter A here and letter B here. Okay? So, can you appreciate the bony spicules here? This one, yan sila. Yan. Ito sila. Yan. This is what we call a trabeculae. Okay? Since marami naman. Kapag isa lang tinuro sa inyo, let's say, ito lang, ano to siya? Trabecula. Okay? So, dyan sa mga butas-butas na yan, guys, dyan nakalagay yung mga bone marrow. Okay? Or the medullary cavities. Okay? So, this is a gross picture of a spongy bone. Now, let's try to see under the microscope. So, under the microscope, okay, this is an example of a bony spicule or a trabecula. Okay? A trabecula is this one. Ito siya. Okay? And this is the medullary cavity or your bone marrow. Okay, ito sila mga bone marrow. Ano meron sa bone marrow natin? Your hematopoietic stem cells. Okay, dito sa bone marrow natin nanggaling yung ating mga neutrophils, monocytes, your basophils, and eosinophils. Basically, almost all your blood cells. Okay, pero hindi dito nanggaling ang tinatawag natin na osteocyte and osteoblast. Ang nanggaling nandito is your osteoclast. Okay, so this is one trabecula, another trabecula. Okay, so I hope na-appreciate niyo yung mukha ng ating trabecula, no? So siya yung spaces between, okay, sa mga cavities, or siya yung mismo nag-make ng ating cavities, and then the spaces between the trabeculae are filled with your bone marrow. Okay, so this is a scanner view of a spongy bone. So let's take a higher magnification of your spongy bone. Okay, so this is another magnification of your spongy bone. Can you appreciate the trabecula here? This one, trabeculae na sila, no? Kasi marami na. And then, you have your bone marrow here. This one. Ayan, ito. These are your bone marrows. Sir, kailangan pa talaga marami ang content ng bone marrow? Yes, of course. Because everything that is important in the body is being made by your bone marrow. All your cells, almost everything that is needed for our immune system to work is created in the bone marrow. Even your lymphocytes are made in your bone marrow, except for your T lymphocyte. Ano palang lymphocyte ang na-create sa bone marrow natin? The B lymphocyte. Okay? Ang T lymphocyte natin, guys, is made in the thymus. Okay? T lymphocyte for thymus. Ayan. Okay? So I hope you can really identify, no, kapag ito yung tinuro sa inyo. What is this? Ang answer, trabecula. Pag ito naman tinuro sa inyo, What is this? Answer agad is bone marrow or medullary cavity. Okay, so let's take a look at a longitudinal section of a bone marrow. Okay, so your bone, no, your bone can be cut using cross section and then as well as a longitudinal section. Okay, so let's take a look at this. So this is a scanner view. Okay, a scanner view. So can you appreciate the periosteum here, which is a covering of your compact bone? So the periosteum is, once again, connective collagen type 1. Okay, anong klaseng connective tissue? Dense, regular connective tissue. Okay, underneath the periosteum, you have your compact bone. Can you appreciate that your compact bone doesn't have any cavities or yung mga butas-butas natin? Yes. Okay, and then beneath your compact bone, the soft part of the bone is what we call the spongy bone. Can you appreciate the different trabecula here? Okay, yan sila. Ayan. Okay, as well as the medullary cavities here that is making your bone marrow. I hope you can really understand the part of the bone now. Okay, so tignan natin sa baba yung walang label. Okay, so basically itong part na to is your compact bone. Itong part na to is your periosteum. Okay, so I hope you are now ready to identify it under the microscope or kahit na sa ating projector pohon. Okay, so with that, let's move on to the next topic. Okay, so we are now done with the bone. So let's talk about our next topic, which is the muscle tissue. Okay, so ang ating bone kanina guys, ang kanyang progenitor cell is what we call the osteogenic stem cell, no, or the osteogenic progenitor cell that will give rise to your osteoblasts and then as well as your osteocytes. Okay, in the muscle ngayon, ang tawag sa kanyang progenitor cell, no, is the mesenchyme. So ito yung kanyang progenitor cell, which will now give rise to your myoblasts. Okay, so tandaan, when say blast, it is the immature form of certain cells, di ba? Kapag sinabi mong blast. So myo means muscle. Okay, myoblast. So kapag makarinig kayo ng mga term na mayroong myo, like for example, myoglobin, no, these are pertaining to muscle. Okay, so in this case, we have the myoblast which pertains to your muscle na immature cell. Okay, so your myoblast has three options, no, meron siyang three routes, kumbaga. Okay, so meron siyang option 1, option 2, and then option 3. Okay, so let's talk about first sa kanyang option 1. When the myoblasts decided to join together and then do fusion, yan, mag-decide sila mag-join together and then mag-fuse, tignan nyo, nag-fuse, walang any harang sa gitna or something, like nagdikit lang talaga sila, no, nag-fuse together, ang tawag doon, they will form myotubes, and that myotube is the prerequisite of your skeletal muscle fiber. So your multiple myotubes will become skeletal muscle fiber. Okay? So since napakaraming myoblasts ang mag-join together, and then ang isang myoblast is meron siyang isang nucleus, yan. Imagine niyo naman kung marami sila magsasama-sama and then maraming skeletal maraming nucleus ang present kasi maraming myoblast ang magsama-sama, ibig sabihin your skeletal muscle fiber now is a multi-nucleated type of cell or type of fiber. Okay? So by the way, don't be confused, no, kapag sinabi natin skeletal muscle fiber, cardiac muscle fiber. So ibig sabihin lang dyan is just pertaining to a single skeletal muscle fiber and then as well as single cardiac muscle fiber. So fiber magod ang tawag guys sa composition pag sinabi mong pinaka basic composition ng inyong muscle. Okay? So don't be confused. So one skeletal muscle fiber is composed of multiple myoblasts that undergoes fusion. Okay? So yan sila. So this one is one myoblast, another myoblast, another myoblast, another myoblast. No, kapag nag-fuse yan sila, it will become a skeletal muscle fiber. Ngayon sir, what if they decided to fuse pero merong mga myoblast na ayaw mag-fuse, no? Kasi walang partner. Possible yun guys. And yung mga myoblast na yun na walang partner na present sa inyong skeletal muscle fiber is what we call the satellite cell. Okay? The satellite cell. Yung satellite cell na yan guys, importante yan siya. Bakit? It's because kapag merong masira or if ever na masira ang isang skeletal muscle fiber, that satellite cell will serve as a backup for that particular damaged area. Okay? It will multiply now and it will become a part of that skeletal muscle fiber. That's why, di ba, kapag when we do gym, no, kapag naga weightlifting tayo, when we do yan, weights sa gym, kapag merong muscle tearing, yung tinatawag na muscle tearing, no, yan. Kaya nagalaki ang muscle, guys, no, kasi 'di ba mapunit siya, masira, ma-tear yung muscle natin. The satellite cells that are present in that skeletal muscle will now infiltrate kung saan yung area na nasira. Okay? Kaya lumalaki ang muscle after workout, after sa gym. That's why kung sinabihan ka ng friend mo na, hala, lumaki lagi ang muscle mo, sabihin niyo lang, satellite cell ko yan. Okay? It's because of your satellite cell. So magpasalamat tayo sa satellite cell natin. That is for the option 1. For the option 2 naman, if the myoblast decided to join together but doesn't want to do the fusion, they can still do it. Okay? Pero they will have this parang, how do I say this? They will have this parang barricade between the two. Okay? This one. And that is what we call the intercalated disc. Okay? So that intercalated disc represents now your cardiac muscle. Okay? So kapag kanina sa skeletal muscle fiber, ang palatandaan natin to check, skeletal muscle fiber yan, are the presence of multiple nuclei. Here in the cardiac muscle, ang palatandaan natin is the presence of your intercalated disc. Bakit? It's because it will tell you that the myoblast that is present there doesn't want to do fusion. Okay? So there is no fusion, therefore the intercalated disc will be present. Ngayon, for the option 3, if your myoblast doesn't care, doesn't want to be with another myoblast and just want to move on and move forward, then ang route na pwede niyong tahakin is the smooth muscle route. Okay? So kapag walang fusion, mag-isa lang siya, that is the smooth muscle. So karamihan ng mga smooth muscle, guys, no, they are flat. It because it wants the flexibility. Okay, it wants that flexibility. Unlike your skeletal muscle, they join through fusion. Therefore, it is stronger. Okay, it is stronger. And then sa ating cardiac muscle naman, magkakasama pa rin sila, but there is no fusion. That's why present ang ating intercalated disc. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so before we proceed pala sa individual type of muscle tissue, no, your skeletal muscle, cardiac, and smooth, let's talk about the special terms that you need to remember. Okay? So, ang palatandaan natin dito, guys, is yung word na sarco. When we heard the term sarco, it means muscle, no? It refers to muscle also. Same as your myo. Okay? For example, sarcolemma. 'Di ba? Maalala niyo, the other name for your plasma membrane is plasmalemma, 'di ba? So here, sarcolemma means the plasma membrane of the muscle. Same thing for sarcoplasm. 'Di ba? It means cytoplasm. For the mitochondria, tandaan nyo always na pag ang mitochondria ng isang muscle, ang tawag dyan is sarcosomes. Okay? For the smooth ER naman, ang tawag dyan is sarcoplasmic reticulum. Okay? I hope you understand and you memorize these terms that you need to remember. Okay? So, let's move on to the next slide natin, which is the skeletal muscle fiber. Okay? So, yung skeletal muscle natin, which is this one, no? Kindly please appreciate the structure before we proceed. Okay, your skeletal muscle, guys, ganang sinabi ko kanina, is made up of a muscle fiber. So, yung muscle fiber na yan, ang tawag dyan, guys, yan yung it refers to the muscle cell, di ba? In particularly, the skeletal muscle fiber, it refers to a single skeletal muscle cell. So, ibig sabihin, guys, yung inyong skeletal muscle cell, no, ang other name niya is skeletal muscle fiber. So your skeletal muscle fiber is made up of multiple myoblasts, 'di ba, na nag-undergo ng fusion, therefore it is multinucleated. Okay, I hope you understand that. Okay, from here, from a single muscle fiber cell, no, kapag marami sila together, they will form a muscle fiber bundle. Okay, yung muscle fiber bundle na yan, kapag marami sila, it will make now your entire skeletal muscle. Okay, sana naintindihan natin, no, that kapag sinabi mong muscle fiber, it refers to the cell of your muscle. Okay, ayaw kawala, guys, no, since I already explained to you that one skeletal muscle fiber is composed of multiple myoblasts that undergone fusion. Okay, so kung makita niyo dito sa picture natin, guys, no, this is an example of a skeletal muscle, no? Hindi lang visible, guys, yung kanyang individual muscle fiber because we need to take a look at it under the microscope. Hindi rin klaro dyan yung muscle fiber bundle guys because under the microscope pa yun. But what we can appreciate is the structure of a skeletal muscle. Okay, so let's move on to the next slide. Wow, great. Okay, so we have a model here, no? Nag-flexion ng kanyang muscle. So let's take a look at the skeletal muscle of this Nika. Okay, so let's start. So we have here your tendon. Okay, so your tendon guys, no, holds your muscle in place, di ba? Kaya para at least maka-move natin sila. Okay, so yung isang skeletal muscle fiber natin or yung skeletal muscle cell natin guys, no, tandaan, is covered by yung tinatawag natin na endomysium. Okay, endo means inside. So ibig sabihin yung pinaka deep or pinaka basic unit ng ating muscle guys is your skeletal muscle fiber. Ang naga-cover dyan is the endomysium. Okay, please understand that. Okay, kapag meron na tayong multiple muscle fiber guys, no, multiple muscle fiber, ang tawag ngayon dyan is fascicle. Okay, muscle fascicle or the bundles of cells. Okay, other name ng ating skeletal muscle fiber guys, so we can call them myocyte. Okay, and then ang another name for a bundle of myocyte is yung simple fascicle lang. Okay, please understand that. And what covers or what protects your muscle fascicles? The perimysium. Okay, kapag ang ating muscle fiber ang nag-protekta sa kanya, ang covering niya is, yung makita natin na covering is the endomysium. For the fascicles, we have the perimysium. Okay, please understand that. Kapag multiple fascicles naman ang magsama-sama like this one, we have 1, 2, yan sila magsama-sama guys, ang entire covering niya is what we call the epimysium. Okay, please take note of the coverings. No, we have the epimysium, we have the perimysium, and then we have the endomysium. Okay, please understand. Kasi nga guys, need nyo ito malaman because these are the structures or the main components of your skeletal muscle. Okay, so ano nga bang itsura ng skeletal muscle under the microscope? So let's take a look. Under the microscope, ito yung itsura niya guys, no? Para siyang wagyu. Okay, so let's take a look. So, yung pinaka-basic unit ng ating cell, which is the myocyte, di ba? Myocyte or a single muscle fiber, ang covering niyan is the endomysium. Tama? This one. Yan, isang endomysium, isang endomysium, isang endomysium. Yan ang covering niya. Okay? Kapag napakaraming muscle fiber, di ba? When they are joined together or grouped together, ang tawag sa kanila, di ba, is fascicle or muscle fascicle. Ang mag-cover sa kanila or ang mag-grupo sa kanila, yan, the covering is what we call the perimysium. So let's make another perimysium here. This one, yan, isang perimysium, isang perimysium. Yan, perimysium. The entire covering of this, of all of this, of multiple fascicles, no? Kasi ito mga isang fascicle man to. Yung unit niya dyan is what we call a myocyte, di ba? So multiple fascicles is what we call the epimysium. Okay, so I hope naintindihan niyo, no? Kasi it will be easier for you to understand kapag isa-isa natin. Okay, once again, a single unit of a myocyte is what we call, ang covering niya is what we call the endomysium. Kapag multiple myocytes, di ba, which will make the fascicle, ito, yan, ito pala, nandito, yan, is what we call the perimysium. The entire covering of all is what we call the epimysium. So palatandaan ko dati guys, 'di ba, kay epi like epithelium or epithelial cell, 'di ba? Usually covering man jud na siya kanang sa outer. So yun siya. Ang endo means inside, so peri means murag sa tunga-tunga na siya. Okay? So I hope meron kayong idea, no? Meron na kayong idea kung paano sila i-group together. Okay? So let's move on sa ating next slide. So this is another slide po sa microscope, no, which is a longitudinal section of a skeletal muscle. So please observe here that the striations are present. So since this is a skeletal muscle, you can observe multiple nuclei. Okay? Bakit nga multiple ang nuclei nito? Is because the myoblast decided to fuse together. Okay? So, multiple nuclei. So dito guys, tandaan nyo, since longitudinal section ito siya, you can observe striations. So tandaan, striations are only observed in the longitudinal section of your skeletal muscle. Sa cross-section pala sir, wala. You can't observe that sa cross-section because ang mas ma-observe mo sa cross-section is yung mga endomysium, perimysium, as well as yung ating, ano nga yung isa? The epimysium. But here in the longitudinal section is hindi. Okay? So, ano pong pwede natin malaman? Muscles are cylindrical in shape and non-branching. It's because tuloy-tuloy lang yan sila. Parang fibers, good, tuloy-tuloy lang yan. Multiple peripherally located nuclei. Okay? Yan, mga nuclei yan. So, merong mga striations. Okay? So, yan na lang gusto ko malaman ninyo for the longitudinal section ng skeletal muscle. How about the cross-section, sir? For the cross-section, gaya ng sinabi ko, you can appreciate yung mga endomysium as well as the perimysium. Okay? Muscle fibers are almost the same size. Tama. Okay? Multiple peripherally located nuclei are located below the sarcolemma or the plasma membrane. So, this is the plasma membrane. Tama. So, these are the nuclei, no? Nasa gilid sila. So, can you appreciate the individual structure, individual structure of your cross section, no? As well as since ano man sila, cross section siya, no? Makikita mo yung multiple nuclei dyan from the myoblast. Okay? Yung myoblast, di ba, when they decided to fuse together, you'll get this. Okay? Kaya siya maraming nuclei, no? And hindi mo makikita ang mga striation dyan, guys, no? Striations are visibly present sa ating longitudinal section and not on the cross section. Okay? Please understand that. So, let's move on sa ating next slide. So, each muscle fiber is covered by yung tinatawag natin na endomysium. Yung sinabi ko kanina. Okay? Endomysium. And then the group of muscle fibers, ang tawag dyan is fascicle. So, itong grupo nila, yan sila nagsama-sama. Ang tawag dyan is a fascicle. Ano nga ulit ang covering ng ating fascicle? Your perimysium. Very good. I hope naintindihan natin, no? So, let's move sa next slide. Group of muscle fibers form the fascicle and each fascicle is covered by a perimysium. That's why when you do have the chance to do microscopy on this, try to adjust I try to use all of the objectives. Kung kanina, no, yung mga dito na part, kaya naka-oil na siguro to siya, that's why makita mo yung mga nucleus ng ating as well as the endomysium. Here in this case, guys, no, you need to use lower objectives para mas ma-appreciate mo yung mga fascicles natin. And then yung covering ng ating perimysium is yung covering ng ating fascicles is the perimysium. So tandaan, group of muscle fascicles make up the whole muscle. Okay, so the whole muscle. Okay, and the whole muscle is lined by your epimysium. Okay, so carry bells lang naman siguro ang skeletal muscle, no? So let's proceed to the cardiac muscle. Okay, for the cardiac muscle, guys, no? For the cardiac muscle, guys, no, since malala yung sinabi ko kanina, di ba, from the myoblast, okay, they also decided to join, okay, join together, okay, but walang fusion. Kumbaga, they decided to be together but walang label. Wow, sakit naman nun, okay? So here in the cardiac muscle, guys, striations are present. Always yan siya, sa longitudinal section of the muscle, striations are present. You can clearly see the striations here, okay? And the muscles are branching and anastomosing. Okay, una, let's identify first yung branching, yan, no? Branching, yan, nag-branch siya, diba? Ayan. Pag sinabi mo namang anastomosing, guys, ibig sabihin, it is yung pagsama ng mga multiple branch. For example, meron kang isang branch here, then another branch here, no? When they join together, yan yung tinatawag natin na anastomosing, okay? Or anastomosis, okay? And then tandaan niyo that in cardiac muscle, we have a single centrally located nucleus, okay? Bakit, sir? Because the myoblast decided not to do fusion, the nucleus now are centered. Unlike your skeletal muscle na merong fusion, so magkasama-sama silang lahat, the nucleus are all over the place, diba? So here, they are centrally located. Ayan, o, centrally located. Okay? Yan. Okay? And then, there is yung tinatawag natin na present of intercalated disc. Ito sila. This one. Yan. Intercalated disc. Okay? Yan. Intercalated disc. I hope naintindihan natin kung ano yung what I'm trying to say. Okay? So here, the myoblast decided to join but there is no fusion. And because of that, the nucleus now are in the center. And then the muscles are branching and anastomosing. Okay? And then that is what causing the presence of your intercalated disc. Okay? So let's take a look under the cross section under the microscope. Okay, the cross section of cardiac muscle under the microscope, remember that the striations are not present. Okay, but the nucleus, guys, no, mas malalaki ngayon or mas visible ang nucleus dito. Okay, it's because nga hindi nga sila na-fusion. Okay, the sizes of muscle fibers may vary but not as much as the smooth muscle. So unlike your skeletal muscle that the sizes are almost the same, in your cardiac muscle, no, they vary, but hindi siya ganun ka-OA compare sa smooth muscle. So in contrast to skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle have centrally located nuclei. Okay, so I hope na intindihan ninyo yung reason bakit centrally located yung nuclei ng ating cardiac muscle. It's because hindi siya nag-fuse, 'di ba? It decided not to fuse together, and then they decided not to fuse together but decided to join together with the presence of your intercalated disc. That's why it's still centrally located pa rin yung kanyang nucleus. Okay, so I hope naintindihan niyo. So once again, sa cross section, you can never really see striations in the muscle. So let's move on sa ating next type of muscle, no? We have the smooth muscle. Okay, for the smooth muscle, guys, no, remember na dito na time the myoblast, no, decided not to join or not to fuse, not to join with other myoblasts, no, but rather to move on its own. Okay, so here, since ang myoblast natin is mag-isa lang siya na nag-move on, okay, ang nangyayari doon, it will form a fusiform or a spindle shape. Okay, so it means that the nucleus will be elongated. Okay, and is situated in the widest central portion. Ibig sabihin, centrally located yung kayang nucleus. Okay, nasa gitna. Okay, so ganitong itsura ng inyong myoblast, guys, no, when it decided to become a smooth muscle. Okay, so ano pa ang dapat niyo malaman? So I want you to know how to identify a smooth muscle when you see one. So far, familiar naman tayo, no, how do we identify skeletal muscle from cardiac muscle, and now we need to identify now a smooth muscle. Okay, so tandaan niyo yung spindle shape, yan, smooth muscle na yan siya. Okay, pag may makita kayong spindle shape, smooth muscle na yan, most likely. Ito yung mukha niya under the microscope. Okay, so let's take a look. Pointed by the blue arrow here, this one is the nucleus, and then this is an example of a smooth muscle. Ayan. Okay, can you appreciate that the nucleus is situated in the widest area? Hanap pa tayo ng isa pang smooth muscle, guys. Okay, so this is an example of a smooth muscle again. Ito, ayan. Ayan, so this is the elongated nucleus, and this is the narrow end niya, no, hanggang dito pala sa dulo. Okay, so ano talaga siya, guys, medyo pwedeng mahaba ang smooth muscle ninyo, no, pwede siyang ganyan, pwede rin siyang short lang, ganun lang. Okay, so please understand that unlike your skeletal muscle that is almost uniform shape, your cardiac muscle na may vary in size but not that much, no, ang smooth muscle ninyo, guys, sila jud tong kanang murag kalat jud siya, but ang palatandaan natin dyan is the spindle shape, the elongated nucleus, and then the wide central portion. Okay, kung saan nakalagay yung ating nucleus. Please understand that. Okay, so let's take a look sa isang specimen na nanggaling sa laboratory, which is a uterus. Okay, so first and foremost, your uterus need to have a smooth muscle. Okay, it's because for contraction purposes and other things. So sa smooth muscle natin, guys, no, so paano nyo nasabi, sir, na smooth muscle to? Ang una natin titingnan dyan is what is the shape of the nucleus. Is the nucleus elongated? Check. Okay, so since the nucleus is elongated, therefore ang papasok sa mind natin, no, it might be a smooth muscle. So how can you confirm? So please find a narrow end, or kahit na example, ako kasi, guys, kahit na ganito lang yung specimen, no, masabi ko agad na smooth muscle to. Tinitingnan natin dyan is yung una, meron bang intercalated disc? Wala. Okay, so check, most likely smooth muscle na yan. Pangalawa, multinucleated ba yung ating yung ating specimen? Oo, sir, marami akong makitang nucleus. Okay, pero malalaki ba ang nucleus? Yes, sir. Kung malalaki ang nucleus, no, it means smooth muscle yan. Kasi the nucleus of your smooth muscle is bigger than your skeletal muscle. Yes, skeletal muscle is multinucleated, but the nucleus are small. Here, the nucleus are marami silang tingnan kasi nga magkakasama-sama sila, but they are not joined together. but the nucleus are big in shape because the nucleus is located in the widest portion, no? For example, this one. Ito siya. Ayan. No, dito nag-end yung point niya. So, this is the nucleus here. So, it means na, smooth muscle jud ini. Okay? So, therefore, ganun kasi guys, no, as you become professional puhon, you can really identify. Makita na ninyo na, ay, ano to siya. This is a smooth muscle, this is a cardiac muscle, and this is a skeletal muscle. Okay? Kasi nga, minsan sa laboratory, merong pinapasa na specimen na walang label. And mortal sin ng medtech is to accept specimens that doesn't have any labels. Ikaw na po nung mahirapan dyan. Okay? So, let's move on sa next slide. Tandaan natin that on cross-section, the narrow end, which is this one, of each muscle fiber is adjacent to the broad parts of the neighboring cells. Ano ba yung broad parts? No? Itong banda. Saan yung nucleus. Okay? Kung saan yung parang merong space. Kasi diba every time na mag-form siya ng narrow end, no? Ba, ito yung nucleus niya. Okay? Tapos meron na namang another smooth muscle na magpasok dyan. Okay? Yan. Dito talaga always nag-end yung kanyang narrow end, no? Nagamit always yun siya guys, no? Kasi try man good nila fit ang each other para silang ano ba, kulto na nagsama-sama, pero wala lang, hindi sila magkakasama talaga, pero parang nandiyan lang sila sa isang place. Okay? Bakit ganun sir? Bakit ganun ang structure ng smooth muscle? Tandaan niyo guys, no, that your smooth muscle, like your cardiac muscle, no, it moves involuntary. Okay? So naga-move din siya na involuntary. So ibig sabihin, it needs to be that way. Okay? So I hope makaya na ninyo mag-identify ng smooth muscle, no, para at least hindi kayo mahirapan. So tatlo lang yung muscle natin, no. We have the skeletal muscle, the cardiac muscle, and then the smooth muscle. Tandaan natin that the skeletal muscle is made up of myoblasts that undergoes fusion. Okay? Tandaan din natin that in the skeletal muscle, your satellite cells are present. Okay? In the cardiac muscle, anong meron dyan? Myeloblast that does not undergo fusion, and also the presence of your intercalated discs. Okay? For the smooth muscle, anong pala tandaan natin dyan? The spindle shape. Okay? The spindle shape. And then, the elongated nucleus. Okay? The elongated nucleus that is found in the broad parts. Okay? Yung widest area ng kanyang mismong cell. Okay? So, I think so again, the next slide is just a picture of a cross section of a smooth muscle. Okay, so tandaan natin guys, no, that the nucleus here is not centrally located, but rather makita siya sa widest part of the cell. Okay, so for the smooth muscle, the skeletal muscle, and cardiac muscle, I want you all to please read and supplement it with your books, no, kasi nga guys, medyo maganda yan siya na topic. Okay, but I think I will end my discussion here. Yun lang. Salamat sa lahat. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you all pass whatever exam is coming up. So thank you.